Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this time. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Like I said, thank you so much for checking me out. If you haven't done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button just right below the video. Cool, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks again for your support. I truly do appreciate having you here.
A Fox Business journalist has reported today that SEC staff not exactly confident that they're actually going to win their lawsuit against Ripple. So join the club. Seriously, who in their right mind actually thinks that the SEC is more likely to win the case if fully adjudicated than Ripple beating the SEC? Who actually thinks that? I mean, who do you have? You've got Joe Lubin, the co-founder of Ethereum and founder of Consensus, and then you've got the SEC attorneys right now that are currently litigating. Who else, though? There's almost nobody on the planet, so it's still fun to see this stuff, though. You know they've got to be in panic mode, right? They're on the wrong side of the law. So anyway, I will share with you the specifics of that. Also, Attorney Jeremy Hogan shared a piece that highlights, and I actually shared this when it was initially published, but shared a piece that shows basically a ranking system so you can determine if any cryptocurrency out there is or is not a security, the likelihood thereof. And he tore the concept to shreds, and for good reason. So, look, plenty to talk about along legal lines here, but before going any further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I'm not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Just one little housekeeping thing before I really dig into the content. I'll be super quick on this, but I've seen a lot of people within the XRP community today stating that the SEC removed all information about the Ripple lawsuit from their website. That's been circulating, and it simply is not true. Now, the reason it's been circulating is because that would be at least the way people are taking it, it's some sort of indication that there's already been some sort of deal worked out, there's going to be settlement, the case is being dropped, or so on and so forth, those types of comments. And that would, in theory, would be the reason that this website, the SEC website, would no longer have any information about the Ripple case. But all you got to do is spend about 3 to 4 seconds doing a quick Google search to find that's not true. And so I'm just setting the record straight here. I typed, as soon as I saw this news, I typed in SEC Ripple lawsuit. Here I am on Google. I know to use the Googles all up on the internet. So I typed in SEC Ripple lawsuit. Once you know, the second result under the top story section, the second result leads you to the SEC page. Here you can see December 22nd, 2020. This is the initial press release stating that the SEC is suing Ripple. You can click on the actual complaint right here where I'm circling, and it brings it up right here, all 71 pages of it. So I just encourage people, when you come across stuff like claims that seem a little bit too good to be true, especially if people are speculating in this case about it, meaning that there's been some sort of deal reached in the background, it just hasn't been announced yet. When you see stuff like that, just use Google. Just type something in. It took me all like 3 or 4 seconds. I typed in, okay, SEC Ripple lawsuit. Bam, there you go. Oh, not true. just say. That's all I have to say about it. I just thought I'd set the story straight because I'm sure that I'm not the only one that has noticed this. And now here's this tweet. This is what I was referencing at the beginning part of this video. And look, I'm really glad that Fox Business Network has been covering the SEC versus Ripple case so diligently for the past half a year. Obviously the journalists over there are well connected, and as a result, we've gotten insider information that otherwise would not be likely to be revealed. And in this case, it was this tweet from Fox Business journalist Ellen Roteret. who tweeted out the following. Scoop. Turns out even staff at the SEC are not confident they will win the case against Ripple. A source close to the SEC tells me Hester Peirce has expressed privately she thinks the SEC will not get the outcome it's looking for. Now, look, we know thanks to Fox Business's reporting that Hester Peirce, and it was initially supposed to be private, at least for now, we know that Hester Peirce actually voted, and she's one of 5 commissioners, mind you, that get to vote on whether or not to bring legal action. She voted against bringing legal action against Ripple when this was all going down. And there's a better path forward. You can think about all of the stuff, and actually I've got a tweet from John Dietman later in the video, but he brings up the safe harbor concept that Hester Peirce has floated. There are better ways to go about this, but it's just interesting to see that within the SEC, and it is admittedly fun to see this stuff leaking out here. Even people highly involved with this case or highly in the know don't think that the SEC is most likely to win. And I think that this, like I said many times, Ripple and XRP holders, we're all on the right side of history. That's what's going. So when you look back 5 to 10 years out, that's what history is going to show, that we're on the right side of history. And it doesn't mean you can't get some sort of bad ruling. It's just when you're talking about probability of outcomes, I'd say it's rather low at this point. But it is fun to see this. So this is the type of stuff where if you didn't have an outlet like Fox Business with all of the people that work there and their incredible connections, you wouldn't even hear stories like this. So I'm so thankful that they, within the mainstream media, have been diving in, she along with Charles Gasparino in particular. And so Hester Peirce, I'd say that she and Eli Roisman voted in the right by choosing not to bring this action against Ripple. Of course, Jay Clayton, though, he sided with 2 other commissioners, and as a result, unfortunately, now we're actually dealing with all this. The actual legal complaint was brought, but it doesn't make any damn sense. And take a look at this. This is actually a quote from SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce, and there's this little infographic made by XRP community member XRP Crow. Always does a great job with this stuff. But here's the quote from Hester Peirce. If you are raising money for a company, sure, that's a security. But if you just selling something to be used in a functioning network doesn't look like a security to me. And it's so you can get into the nitty-gritty of like what does it mean for something to actually be or not be a security. There are not clear rules. Now, yes, you can look at the Howey test, sure, but there's so many complexities of all this and so many nuances, and anybody can come in and take a look at specifics of any case and just come to completely different conclusions than somebody else that reviews the same facts, even if 2 people are unbiased. Because it's subjective, folks. And so the degree to which this is true is incredibly obvious. So attorney Jeremy Hogan, he shared a link to this. I'm going to come back to this in a second. This is the Crypto Rating Council Securities Law Framework. And frankly, I'm not even saying this to bash the authors of this. They're doing their best to make sense of the rules of the road, the best that we have to this point, which is basically the Howey test, frankly. And so if you're going to try and put something together, this is about as good as it gets, but even then it's not certain. It's not certain that your analysis is going to be correct in terms of will the SEC find something to be a security or not be a security. And so attorney Jeremy Hogan wrote the following. Is your digital asset a security under U.S. law? It's simple. The Crypto Rating Council has put together a spreadsheet involving 36 mostly subjective factors on a points system, which gives you a 1 through 5 rating /probability. It's really, in quotation marks, crystal clear. And so he's obviously being a little bit sarcastic there. And it's not crystal clear. And this isn't from the SEC. And so here's this entity, I get it. They're just doing their best to operate in good faith and add a little bit of guidance based on their knowledge within the space. Okay, fine. I'm not saying that I could do better than that, but that's why it's not my job, and it shouldn't be their job either. It should be the SEC coming up and be like, yeah, this is it. Pretty clear rules of the road. We don't freaking have that, though, which is why this is so offensive. And then somebody from the community named Mike responded to Jeremy Hogan and wrote, the highest score is still most likely a security, even their test isn't definitive. And that's true. In fact, if you scroll, I think it's at the bottom here. And by the way, what they're talking about within this test, I'll show you a couple little parts in a second. It's basically the Howey test. But here, you can sum up all the points once you go through this thing. And you can see, here's number 1, meaning that the cryptocurrency in question is least likely to be deemed a security. Not that it's not, but least likely. So even they're acknowledging the SEC could still come after you. And then on the top, number 5, most likely to be deemed a security. So even this doesn't say with actual certainty, and nor could they. And so again, I'm not saying that to blame them. It's really more so to highlight how the SEC has completely just dropped the ball when it comes to regulation of this asset class, this emerging asset class. They have really messed up. And so Jeremy Hogan responded to Mike and said, it's a joke. How can a business operate under this framework? Also, when the law is so subjective, it naturally leads to selective enforcement and conflicts of interest. Folks, isn't that exactly what we've seen at this point? Isn't that exactly what the hell we've seen? And so again, they're just doing their best here, and this was published like back in May of last year, so I remember covering this at the time. But here you can see they're covering the 4 prongs of the Howey test. Number 1, investment of money. And they labeled the next part weird. It should just say common enterprise, but it says common enterprise / reasonable expectation of profits. But then you go to prong number 3, and it's like redundant. I don't fully understand. They just wrote here reasonable expectation of profit. So it gets even more convoluted than it should even within this thing. But look at all this stuff. So you're supposed to read through all this and tally up a score, and then it tells you, well, basically how likely your cryptocurrency is likely to be sued or not sued by the SEC. That's pretty much it. And you can see it here at the bottom 4. There you go, 4. Solely from the efforts of others. So it is the Howey test. That's what they're getting at here. And you see, that's for me, that's why I've always said for the longest damn time, for me, there's a hard break here, because the fact of the matter is, if Ripple, the company, goes away, XRP continues to exist and is being used by so many people for so many different purposes, it wouldn't just go away. That's a hard break. There can't be a common enterprise. And that means that one of the, right there, even just one of the 4 prongs of the Howey test not satisfied. Even if just one prong is not satisfied, then XRP is not a security. That's a matter-of-fact statement. That's not opinion. And then there was this. Attorney Jeremy Hogan retweeted that from a Jeremy Hogan where he's noting that this is all just a big joke. And John Deaton wrote the following. Jay Clayton's op-ed in the Wall Street Journal discussing how regulators must get crypto regulations right is more evidence that the conflicts of interest played a significant role in his tenure as chairman. While at the SEC, all he had to do was pass Hester Peirce's safe harbor. He had the votes. Yeah, and if he wanted to, yeah, he could have seen that pass. He could have. But he didn't, and so it just makes you question what the hell were his motives. I don't understand it. And then John wrote, him, referencing Clayton, Also, Hester and Elad Roisman constituted a majority. All three were Republican-appointed commissioners. They could have passed the safe harbor and provided Ripple and others specific markers to meet within 3 to 5 years. Instead, he voted against Hester and Elad to sue Ripple and XRP. And so, look, the reason that this is so important is because if you're launching a cryptocurrency in the United States, you understand when you launch something, it's way, way, way more centralized than it would be at scale if widely adopted, right? So you can think about even just Bitcoin, the first cryptocurrency ever. When Satoshi Nakamoto mined that first Bitcoin block, there was one participant. It doesn't get more centralized than with just one participant, right? But then, as more participants entered the space, it became more and more decentralized, and there are factors or attributes that you can look at to kind of track that. Well, similarly here, you know, if you're talking about a safe harbor, it offers recognition that when a cryptocurrency is launched, it's likely to be centralized and thus have an attribute that common enterprise aspect, that prong, it's likely to be satisfied. And so if you're not going to allow for a safe harbor and for projects to get more decentralized, then basically what you're saying is here in the United States, we don't want this type of entrepreneurialism. We don't want new cryptocurrencies to be launched in the United States. So you're not accommodating the fact that this new technology exists and all the pros and cons that come along with it. That's what's happening here, and that's a problem. Now, since the SEC didn't go after XRP immediately, and it's been around for, you know, a decade basically at this point, almost a whole decade at this point.
I'm your guy. I will keep you posted. I'm your advocate. I'll be back on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day, with these videos to keep you updated with everything going on. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share any of my videos with your friends, family, social media, or anybody who may care to listen. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'm always here for you. I want to help you through this time. So thank you so much for continuing to choose me. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you again probably in a couple hours. Thanks, everybody. See you later.